Thank you all for being here. Any agenda items? Otherwise, we go over the OpenVRs. Let's go over the OpenVRs. A lot got merged this week, so nothing is pending a merge. The Ruby 3.1 VR. I'm currently running integration tests. To see if it still works. I think Ramon couldn't run the integration tests or something. So, but so far it seems to be green. And I think Bayan has already looked at it, right? As well. So it's just a matter of squashing some things and rebasing.
Correct. Somehow the commits, we have now too many commits, constantly push something too much, but yes.
Yeah, I think he's working on that.
Correct, yeah.
I don't know. Konstantin has been fighting with Git for a while now. Like there's multiple things going on, but I don't know. We'll see where this goes.
Yeah, but overall the change looks good. Yeah, just VIP commit message was a little bit. I wasn't sure whether it is something finished or not. Yeah.
So if it gets cleaned up and the tests all pass, I think this can be merged. It shouldn't take too long. Okay. This one had some code proposals from Benjamin, but there's been no response from the original author. So I think that Benjamin said something like he wanted to just make the PR himself, but I mean, he's not here, so nothing we can do, I guess. I can follow up with him offline. There's PR, so there's a whole discussion in the Bosch repo, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, correct.
Track all this. Yeah, that's right. So this is where we're tracking that work, because as Benjamin pointed out, with the removal of the registry, we should also remove all CPI v1 code. This is the discussion tracking that work, and the removal of the registry code from the Bosch CLI falls under that work. So
we will be there. Will be there an RFC for this removal, or is it?
No. Why? Yeah, I mean, we can. Do we want to discuss that at the TOC level, or I mean, it is basically tech debt, right? At this point.
Yeah,
I'll see.
I saw somewhere you suggested to create one, but yeah,
no, if we like have to discuss these types of things at the TOC level. I mean, if you feel like we should, I think having a discussion within our working group, I think should be enough, and this thread can work for that. We're just removing code that has been deprecated for a long time.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's start this way. If we see more interest, then we can go for something else. But
I mean, like it's more like if we want an, I don't feel like we need approval for making or deprecating and removing old code from the TOC. So that's why, like, if we want that type of approval, I guess we should create an RFC, but I don't think it's for every feature or everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey guys, I have a question. could this go to the Bosch version 300 or something that that can be marketed as a major step in Bosch lifetime? Could we possibly prepare a few Bosch version 300, like to be a kind of Bosch V3?
I mean, like as a direct. So we talked about it here, right? It's about like because this touches a lot of repos, right?
Yeah.
And 300 would be only the version of the director, right? So
yeah, Bosch
that
CLI would be version 7, possibly. Or... No, it's just a question. I mean, you're right.
I understand, but I mean, like practically, it would mean that we would basically do all this work on different branches and then to release it all at once, right? That's what you're suggesting, and I think the logistics of that are quite complex.
We don't have train release, indeed. Well, a release train, like
no, we don't have a release, and it is stack depth, right? So it's stuff that's not prioritized that high, this work. So if there's no other stuff, people are working on this, but it's like looking at the suggested timeline here, right? This could be a few months, and that would mean that we have PRs that are open for a long time, and then it will be difficult to get them merged because you would have to rebase a lot. So yeah, I don't prefer that solution. I would just like pick it up as small bits and track it here.
Yeah, right.
Because functionally there isn't anything changing for people that are on up-to-date versions. So
okay.
But yeah, we just went over this PR while you were not here yet, Benjamin. Did you want to make a PR to just fix this or not? Or I think that's something you suggested.
Okay. I see. So we match that one, and then I apply the patch to complete the work. Right. We let's do this.
Or is it yeah, because it's a separate branch, right? I mean, you could also just take his branch and then work from there, right? And his commits will still be in your branch, and he will get credit that way.
Because we still have the CLA issue, or yeah, we do, yeah. So we need to reset Auto.
Oh, he even has that. Yeah, at this point, I mean the change is so small. Maybe just create a separate PR with this change, but then don't use the commit because otherwise we will have an easy CLA problem.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I do that.
But we just treat this as an issue, right? That's got fixed in a different PR.
We need to move on and keep some pace.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's so painful when the pace is not. It's too slow.
Yeah. Okay. This one was reviewed, right?
Yes, I looked into this one today. There is one place, it's huge. There is one place which I couldn't get completely why it's changing.
Yeah, we will just wait for his comments. Yeah, this, I mean, we cannot, apparently this code still doesn't work. There's, we probably need to switch to the Bosch agent and put this this logic in the Bosch agent, because otherwise we'll keep having timing issues. There's too many edge cases to. So yeah, and also we have a story in our backlog to look into doing this for Windows. So if we're gonna do multiple targets, then the Bosch agent, I think, is the best place to put this logic, because then we have more. Then we can create like a Go interface, and then have like an implementation for Linux and an implementation for Windows, that type of thing.
What would be the design? So the design would be that the Bosch agent set up C groups and stuff for Monit and restarts Monit with that.
I mean, the Bosch agent already starts Monit. No, this is not about Monit. This is about we have this is the net stuff. So this is just IP tables, firewall rules to block traffic to nets.
For anyone, for any C group that does, except
that
the one for Bosch agent.
Yes. So we would still need to have the Bosch agent in some C group when it starts. So that would be the stem cell change, but then the logic around getting the director IP address or the net's IP address and creating the IP table rules would be in the agent. Because I think that's currently what the problem, the difficulty is around getting the net's IP address, because there's like this whole init process around like getting the initial config and then bootstrapping the setting up the network interfaces to be able to talk to the metadata endpoint, and then and that's all IaaS specific, right? So there's different ways of getting that initial agent configuration. And so you would have to wait in your script till the agent basically has gone through its configuration and then parse that agent configuration. So it's better to do it in the agent anyway, right? Because then you know you don't have to wait, because you just can put it in the place in the right place in the agent where that configuration is known. So basically after bootstrapping or something. So yeah.
Yeah, I suddenly realized that currently we have a story where we put our different Bosch instances on different AZs, and we prepare stuff so that if any AZ is lost, we can redeploy the Bosch server on some Bosch server on other AZ. But it means that the
so
Bosch
you're gonna do it
has a different IP, and all the agents have to update to reach out to the correct IP. We had not thought of this dependency, but it doesn't no link with what we are talking about. But
I already commented down there is a comment which explains this.
Yeah, so basically what you want is something hostname, right? You want to do it with hostname.
Exactly. The nuts, there is no IP, there is a host name, and when you set the IP tables, then the host name is resolved during the IP table.
Okay. So in the settings, you get a host name, and the problem is that it is resolved to IP when okay.
So it can change. That means the new IP won't be blocked until agent is restarted or the VM is recreated. This is my understanding at the moment.
Yeah, so the IP address changes, so you will get, it doesn't prevent you from accessing it. It will just not block it. That would be the problem.
Yeah.
So the IP table configuration would have to be reapplied again, properly secure stuff again.
But wait, if the hostname, if the director goes away, that means the nats is gone, which means that all the agents will go in a reboot loop to try to reconnect, right? So they will all try to resolve the hostname.
Oh, really? The agent reboots when NATS is not reachable?
I think it will go like, it will just crash and then it will be restarted.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So they
Maybe
can send
it
the
tries
ping.
to.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
the agent
they-
sends a ping.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Most probably, yes. Most probably they will.
It
Panic,
could be that it retries a few times, right? But then eventually it will panic and then it will reboot. And then the agent, if it reboots, it goes through bootstrap.
That's
So
right.
if it just make if we just make sure that it does this during bootstrap, then I think it will be fine.
Yeah, this was the fourth point. Yeah, that most probably. But I can remember that agents are restarting when NATS is not reachable. Yeah, I think it's the we just implemented something to be more somehow to restart slowly, not so often.
Some back off.
Correct. There's some back off.
Some back off delay.
Delay,
yeah, because otherwise you you can never start your director again because it will be DDoSed till that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I had contact with the author Thomas, and he said he's gonna work on this next week. Coming. And Benjamin, did you have contact with
He hasn't answered my ping last week, if I'm correct. I don't have his email. Oh, his status on Slack is out sick.
Oh, okay, that explains.
But
I don't know.
Are we responsible now for soft layer stuff?
Not responsible. We just ask them to test and validate its correctly working.
Oh, okay.
It's more of a this PR is open and it's blocked on them, so we're just pinging.
Oh, I thought Benjamin. Yeah, Benjamin committed this. But...
Yes, that's because the change that broke them was created by Benjamin. So Benjamin has context on this. This had to do with the IS native disk resize, right? So that feature broke the soft layer thing.
Check.
Because the soft layer thing was brittle.
Yes.
Snowflake.
You know, that's why it was already scary. I said, okay, we need to take care of soft layer now.
No.
Yeah. No, we just adapted the code so that the snowflake doesn't break.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. We don't have a lot in flight at the moment. Let's quickly go over the issues. Oh, there's something new. Yeah, yeah, we also have a story in our backlog to standardize a bit of our release processes because our pipelines are a bit different. Like in some you have to bump a version, and in some you just have to click a box, and in some there's a GitHub release, and in some there isn't. So I've added this as well there. Apparently there's a GitHub API when you create a release through the GitHub UI, there's a button to generate release notes, and apparently you can also do that through the API. So this is just an idea to use that. But I don't know if it's like this really worked well for stem cells, because for stem cells we already generate the release notes based on the USN log. So this would maybe allow us to also include some of the commit messages.
Yeah, the only thing we do now is like we generate everything for the USN logs. We just put it in there, and the Bosch agent bumps, and that's what's auto-generated. And then there is a manual step that we still do. Well, I still do, and that is for like every time we do a manual, I will check which PRs we have included from the master into the to the line builds, and then manually put it in there, and I don't want to do that anymore.
Okay, yeah, this maybe would solve that. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be too noisy, right? Because of when you generate this on this Bosch stem cell CI. Oh no, not on the Bosch Linux stem cell builder. You might get all those commits from the bump, the OS image and stuff, right? There's those types of commits, a lot of them.
Yeah.
If it's gonna exclude those, but yeah, let's try.
Yeah, those I still want to get rid of those anyways.
I'm just gonna assign it to you. Right, this is more of a reminder, right? So I'm gonna put it in, I would say, prioritize. Are you gonna work on this, or it's more of a reminder, note to self, or how should I classify this?
It was a note to self, so whenever I have the time, I will work on it.
Okay, then I'm
whenever I have a spare hour left, I will work on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on prioritize and assign it to you. So then.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it, I guess. We have 20 seconds last. No.
So
this one has recent activity.
mm-hmm. Yeah, the workflow the workflow with stop VMs is quite has many corner cases. We have hit an issue today where a concourse worker instance has been stopped, apparently, and the deployment has been updated, removing some turbulence release, and then Bosch thinks the turbulence release is not attached to any deployment, but in the database, the release is still attached. It's still linked to the stopped instance that has not been updated. And then when you try to delete the release from Bosch server, you get a foreign key violation because of the stopped instance. So there are a lot of corner cases actually with stopped instances.
So what are you suggesting?
That's a good question, but it means that the feature, the relation with the stopping an instance feature has not been very thought of with other features, like what happens when you update the rest of the deployment, what happens when you run an errand, etc.
But how do we see how? I think it was always the case that when it was stopped, it was basically a crashed VM, right? That was basically the assumption always, or isn't? When a VM is in a stop state, what do we expect? Is it like a crash? Is it like?
Yeah, that's the question. We need to give proper semantics to this and something consistent. with the rest. We need to decide what is the most consistent thing to do, and yeah, and then the implementation will follow naturally.
Because yeah, it would be a really edge case to run an errand on a stopped VM. That would be.
But it happens. It can happen.
Yeah, of course, everything can happen.
But I mean, we could also just say no, right? Like in the direct API, say no, the instance is stopped.
Yeah, and then we can basically we can then do what Felix suggested, is that like a force, like it stopped, and then you can put an extra flag, do it anyways. But it's really hacky. Don't know if we really want that.
Here, what does Felix ask for here?
I think there is a use case with database migration when you want to stop, execute BOSH stop so that you can stop the processes and then execute an errand which does some migration.
But in my opinion, the errand would be the one that stops everything. Basically, should be the thing that actually stops the processes on what it's actually trying to do. That's the errand should solve this, not BOSH. BOSH doesn't know anything.
But Monit will try to start again because
no, you can do. I think there are errands that do like a Monit stop.
Monit stop, okay, yeah, it can execute Monit stop. Yeah,
but,
could be also an option to say, should we? But the use cases is to stop, so to say, the processes with BOSH and then do something with the errand and then start again.
In my opinion, this seems like, yeah, you can implement it, but it seems more like a bit of a duct tape and hammers solution than actually solving the problem.
Because the thing is, ideally, you would also need to handle in your errands the case where BOSH stop has not been executed, right? So you would need to error out on the errand saying, no, first one BOSH stop. So you have a dependency on BOSH stop. So why then not run Monit stop? I guess.
Yeah, you have to, if you expect to be, you have to check that everything has been stopped in the errand. If you expect.
Yeah, you can say both scenarios are possible and solutions, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's just wait for
more
responses here, for more input. But yeah,
let's reconvene next week.
yes.
See what happens.
But what happens when you run an errand on a stopped instance previously? It restarts the instance or what?
No, I think you can get into cases where you have old packages and stuff on there because it
correct. Yeah, it was to avoid use cases which you described, Benjamin, to have on VM which haven't been updated. You try to execute the errand and don't know what is the state. Because,
yeah, that's where the semantics of BOSH are not clearly defined with stopped instances.
I think we should just prevent people from running an errand on a stopped instance, because then you don't have that problem, right? And then they should, in their errand, just make sure that if they want process to be stopped, they make sure they do that themselves in the errand.
But there is also something to say about, we introduced this and it worked always like this. So maybe it's something like we can maybe then circumvent with a flag how they suggested. But you can. Yeah, I don't know. I will keep myself out of this.
We'll see.
Yeah, the main problem is that a stopped instance, you cannot test an update on it. So do you consider it is supposed to be updated and run into the problems, into any problems when it is restarted? or do you do like currently saying no, it just keeps as is, and it's not updated, so we cannot, we don't consider it has been updated. So it's kind of hold back from the rest of the deployment evolving.
Yeah.
Which
Default,
makes it quite inconsistent. Yeah.
Yeah, the default should be to not execute something on stop VMs, but if we consider flag, then we expect that the one setting the flag knows what is happening. But yeah, I think what transferring this to the errand as a responsibility to care about the processes of the flag and both use cases.
Yeah, that's the ideal scenario.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, people do hacky stuff.
Okay, so is this snippet?
I think I have edited his description that yeah, so that we can read the logs and stuff. Otherwise, yeah, they were missing backticks to format that properly.
Could be a better error than.
What was the last question? So it seems that the generated SQL query is invalid because there is an and cloud properties, nothing else inside the parentheses. We are missing the rest, but I remember seeing in the logs that you have parentheses, cloud properties, and that's it. Not equals anything.
No, but
So
I
that's
mean,
why
here,
it's
there's dot 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 here and there's dot 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 here, right? So
yeah.
I think this is just
Just
how it's
missing
modeled.
stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, no, that's just how Postgres reports these errors. It just points to.
But if you look up, I didn't know it was possible to. Well, what he's trying to do is like Z1, C2, C3, and then have cloud properties for all for the same one, or is it just like only the latest Z for C2, 3 that he wants to do cloud properties?
No, that's what we talked about here. So this is actual the snippet. Actually, the snippet.
But it still
Which is
doesn't make
format.
sense, right? Because cloud properties should be then under C3 and not under a subnet.
Yeah, subnets should be an array, right?
Yeah.
Definitely, yes. You're right.
Now is he tries to do AZs and then basically for Z1, C2, C3 and basically give the same ranges and reservations for.
If it's a subnet, right, then you have it's an array and then it has a range and these are the AZs in which you can use that subnet. So then it makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I understand. Yeah.
Worstjes zijn klaar.
Ja, kom maar zo aan.
Food.
Maar mama moet je anders koud eten. Want
Ja.
wij moeten
Ik ben in een call.
But the dash is missing in your excerpt, but in his there is a dash. So
Oh yeah. there
yeah.
it is. Okay, so that's
So
not
it's not the problem here. Let me.
yeah, but I mean, like in his example, the indentation is really wrong.
Yeah, the indentation is weird. It looks weird in this example. Could also be the formatting of GitHub. But what does he mean with, sorry for, yes, I confirm your snippet. Yes,
so
I
he says
confirm it
that
works.
it is like this, but no, he just confirmed that the snippet was formatted wrong, but this is also formatted wrong. So yeah.
Okay, I'm back. I wasn't. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I was just saying that we have insights in the first line of CPI error log, d comma something. If you scroll down to the extreme right, don't do that politically, please. First line of this little bit above. Yeah. Right. Even more rightwards. Yeah. Okay, but it's just okay. No, it's not that relevant actually. It's just the same error message.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same error message.
But it still seems like there's some sort of formatting error.
Yeah.
Because why otherwise complain about the type cloud property? So
yeah, the SQL query is wrong. Somehow.
I don't think that's. I think that there's messed up YAML somewhere.
I think the dashes. So we need dashes in front of cloud properties, gateway, range, reserved. They're on the same. They're on the same level, like.
Yeah, this stuff.
Yes.
This should be
indented to the left.
And we need dashes. Yeah, there are some options to the subnets. So the subnets array has the options to have cloud properties, availability zones, gateway.
Basically, the AZs, I think, AZs should be indented to the right, and then the cloud properties is falling under subnet. I think the dash AZ.
You can
seems
have
properly
both.
formatted.
Yeah, you can have both. I think indentation. I think you can have on this level one to the right.
It looks correct. It looks correct, actually.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
YAML is hard.
I don't know. I think we're spending too much time on this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would it be? But would it be a YAML issue? The YAML would not be passed by the YAML library.
Yeah,
So the error would be something else.
It could be the schema, right? So it would be valid YAML, but it's not valid schema, as in it's not a valid But I mean that would also cause other errors probably. So, yeah, I don't know. I would keep this open and wait if there's more people reporting this issue. Or
maybe remove the stale. Yeah, maybe remove the stale label. Okay.
It was removed. Was it?
No, it was
Oh
re-added.
no, it was added. It was re-added. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they are a small team, and Jean-Christophe is hard to get in touch with. Oh, sorry. I was to try to reproduce this, and I did not find the time to do this. But I should definitely try. So yeah, it's still relevant.
This is what they changed in the latest agent, I think.
Well, I don't know.
Okay, they keep bumping this issue. Cannot save and restart the Bosch Lite on VirtualBox.
This is a million years old. This issue.
Yeah, and there's just nobody who wants to. Waiting for changes, open for contributions. Yeah, that's already correct. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Oh.
There's nobody who wants to pick this up. It's gonna be in this state for a while.
Yeah, and skip those CIS, the stem cell CI infos, because.
Yeah, I'm looking at last activity column. So everything since the last time that we talked. So this one. Oh yeah, that one was already we talked about, and then I think the rest is. Yeah, this one. Oh, this is done. Yeah, no, so that's it. That was everything that was
Cool.
had any recent activity. Okay. If there's nothing else, I think we can end this call.
See you guys later.
There are something else. Yeah. Do you want to talk about removing money possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I think I left some comments in the document, and I think the next step would be after we have that discussion in the document, we would create an RFC.
Right.
To discuss as a TOC. So if there is currently a document that Benjamin started where we are talking about deprecating monet or removing monet. So if people are interested, maybe Benjamin, you can add a link to the document in this document so that people that are interested can look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I do this.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay. Talk to you all later.
See you later.
See you. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, guys.